go. We are getting into our next game, into game number 1 of a fresh best of 3. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Terran player, the red Terran, representing himself, just hooked down for Jimmy. It is Moja. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Oh, hold on. I should fix up the title. There we go. You know what time it is. It's time for your Gamba Papi. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this TvT. Will it be our German Terran or our Korean Terran player? Best of luck. I think it's a little bit hard to call. I will say that HonMonO is typically a very aggressive and very animalistic player. He's an animal, Papi. He's an animal. Very cheesy, very aggressive, very in your face against Protoss players, but against Terran, he's something a little bit different. HonMonO does play a lot more standard, a lot more macro against Terran players. From the side of Moja, personally, I'm a little bit unfamiliar. I'm more unfamiliar with Moja's play. I've only casted him a couple of times, so I don't really know what he has to offer and how he does look like in the TvT matchup. So I'm ready to be introduced. I am ready. Meanwhile, double gas. Double gas opener out of Moja, going for a faster factory. Meanwhile, HonMonO going for a single gas opener. That means we're going for a faster CC. So economic opener out of HonMonO as the CC is on the way. Moja going for a delayed economy for a faster factory. So a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive here from Moja. We'll see how he does approach this. This could be for Reactored Reaper Hellion. This could be for initial Cyclone production early on, working towards fast tank into drop play. We have options available for Moja. We'll see what direction he does take us in. Our eyes mostly are going to be on Moja early on. We shall see. And HonMonO is going to be our initial defender. So we have our roles being taken, our aggressor and our defender. Moja now taking a bit of a later expansion on the low ground. And we'll see where this takes us. We shall see. Yeah, for the time being, a little bit of a lull period here. Most likely, the lower semifinals will be ready for us once we wrap up. We'll pick and choose, I suppose, whichever is ready first, and we'll be jumping into the semifinals. To ease our way into this. Meanwhile, we can see that we did not rush into initial Reaper Hellion. We had some Reapers early on, but that was just for defense, just for safety. We're not going into any additional Reaper Hellion production, at least not from the side of Moja. Instead, faster Cyclones. We have our first, soon-to-be second Cyclone on the way. From here, we can go into a medevac and go for a Cyclone drop. Speaking of, ooh, no medevac, going for a Viking instead. Interesting. Okay, very defensive play here, which in a way makes sense. I just realized that we have not scouted at all. Zero scouting here from Moja. Likewise, zero scouting from HonMonO. So Moja is just securing himself and being ready for anything coming his way with Cyclone Viking. Meanwhile, HonMonO back at home, likewise going into his own Cyclone production into a faster Raven. Ravens are on the way. Again, Ravens they provide a lot of utility in TvT. A lot of utility, as they do provide a way to kind of break these siege lines and break these tank positions, especially with that interference matrix with the disables. So Ravens are going to be on the way already here for HonMonO. Moja getting into some delayed Raven production, so is going to be behind a Raven, at least initially. And yeah, Moja just playing very defensively. Okay. I assumed he was going to be a little bit more assertive with the initial faster factory, but the answer is no. We're chilling back at home, getting into Cyclones, into Vikings, setting up our tank, and yeah, being more safe. Now, what I find interesting here is that HonMonO has not begun tank production. This is a bit of an older school build. I say old school, I don't know if that's the right word. At the start of the year. This is a build that we saw quite often, like 8 months ago. And if you remember what was happening 8 months ago, or even 7 months ago, that was the Cyclone patch. That was the patch where Cyclones were being amassed like this very frequently by everyone. Bjorn was doing it, Maru, Clem, all the top tier Terran players were massing Cyclones early on in TvT, and Cyclone Wars were a part of the meta for a couple of months. It was a dark time. it was a dark time in SE2 history that we try to forget, and we try to kind of bury in that history as well. But this is not something you see too often anymore. We're still making more Cyclones, by the way. More Cyclones coming out from HonMonO, and I mean, with these Ravens, the goal should be to disable the tanks of Moja and then try to overwhelm. I'm not convinced, but we'll see if this works. Oh boy. Here we go. As we do see Moja moving out with those tanks, we catch out the main army. Decent catch here from HonMonO. Trading out 1 for 1. Cyclone for a Marine. Not the best trade here from HonMonO. He does rotate over the tanks to do siege. And as a reminder, HonMonO can disable those tanks. Every single one. But he doesn't go for it. Does pull away. Behind this, getting into bio production, getting into his initial tanks. Bearing in mind that HonMonO is behind in tank production because of all these Cyclones, and so far it hasn't been worth it. Not yet. Does scan, does get eyes on all the tanks. Oh, that's 4 tanks sieged up. Behind this, Moja also playing bio tank. Getting into stim, not mech. But it does feel like there's a lot of pressure on HonMonO to have this army pay for itself. Going for auto turret harass, getting some SCVs. HonMonO is also the first to take a third base, saturate as well. HonMonO does have and maintain that economic lead. Getting 4 SCV kills, denying mining time. And Moja does not move out. He's just maintaining his position, getting his own third. And HonMonO can't really do much about it. Not yet. Yes, we're embracing more Viking production, more tanks as well. As auto turret harass does continue, getting another 4 SCVs. Comparing the tank counts, we have 6 tanks to 3, so Moja has double the tank count of HonMonO. And on the one hand, I want to say that that does give Moja a big army advantage, and that is true on the one hand. On the flip side, of course, we do have the Master Raven available for HonMonO, and with those disables, we can kind of make up for our lack of tanks. Moja does have Ravens of his own, that is true, but only 2. So he's down a Raven. Oh! HonMonO does catch both Cyclones. Going for more harass. Not bad. At the same time, we're going for a jump here on the right-hand side, and we are pulling Moja apart. Oh my god! Yeah, 10 SCVs going down. Likewise, you jump into the main base as well, and Moja is slow to react. Does get here, but not in time, and we get 19 SCVs. Oh my god, we're not done! We're going to get 1 extra SCV, 26 SCVs go down in total. We clean up the Marines, we clean up the drop play, but that is so much damage. We cripple the economy, and HonMonO has a massive worker lead. And does that trigger a move out? Remember, HonMonO, he does have the higher worker count, but the higher tank count is still in favor of Moja. Never mind. 4th CC. Okay. Okay, we're not moving out. Moja, we're turtling up. We're turtling up. We're going to be taking a more defensive stance. HonMonO's going to be moving out instead. And can HonMonO break this position? With all those Ravens, he could. There is potential, but I mean, that's why we have the Vikings from Moja for air control to zone the Ravens away. We'll see if he can. There's 9 of Vikings for Moja. Oh, we're going for a Doom Drop. Oh, but he's crazy! There are Vikings in position. There are Vikings ready for this. Oh, and we do send them away. 1 Viking goes down. If we were crazy enough, we could disable the Vikings and then boost in. Could try to do that. It would be crazy. But HonMonO pulls away. does pull away, rotating around, looking for another way in. Likewise, 3 Vikings also in position. HonMonO going for a split push. We'll see if HonMonO can pull Moja apart. His goal here should be to distract. While he gets ready for the drop, but the Vikings are ready. Oh. Vikings are in position. Oof. And 1 medevac almost goes down. Again, Moja more than prepared. HonMonO forced back. Double expanding, getting a triple expanding even. Getting a 4th, a 5th, and a 6th CC. All the bases. All on the way. Likewise, HonMonO going for the dive. He disables as many tanks as he can. That's 3 tanks disabled. And it looks like we will be able to break through. We're getting on top of the tanks, and HonMonO, he overwhelms. He overwhelms. GG gets called. And HonMonO will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Again, HonMonO just pulling his opponent apart left and right. Moja could barely keep up, did take a massive economic deficit, and in the end, despite Moja having more tanks, he was down in Marines, he was unable to stop the disables even with the higher Viking count, and HonMonO did snowball out of control. And with that, HonMonO does take the first game, but now we're getting ready for game number 2. We're getting ready for that second game, and we'll see if Moja can bounce back. As a reminder, Moja also had a rough start in the first game against Fort Jumi. That also did happen. It just took a game to really get things going for Moja to bounce back. We'll see if he can do it again. We shall see. As we're making our way into game 2, going to be loading into Golden Aura. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Golden Aura, we have our now purple Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Team Hyper 1, up 1-0. One more game to make it to the semifinals. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the German Terran player, the pink Terran, representing himself, currently teamless, down in the series, but looking to bounce back and force the ace match. It is Moja. Go. Go. As a reminder, we did have HonMonO going for more economic opener last time, but this time, double gas. Okay, double gas opener out of HonMonO, double gas out of Moja. This time we have mirrored builds between both players, but on a map like Golden Aura, we'll see if HonMonO is going to be the aggressor this time. We saw that Moja was playing very safe, last game, going Cyclone into Viking, into a 3rd CC, into a 4th CC, was, for the most part, staying at home on his side of the map, and HonMonO, I'm sure, is aware of that, and we'll see if he can try to break that kind of shell early on, or earlier on. Here we go. Here we go. As for now, just kind of waiting for our initial units of choice. Going to be racks into factory. And do we continue Reaper production? That is the question. That is the question. Moja going for his first Reaper, this time moving out across the map. If you recall, last time we did avoid that, and the Reapers, they do clash. Oh! Who shoots first? HonMonO! HonMonO does. He shoots first, and oh, just barely does win out in that fight. Massive win here for HonMonO. does take a Reaper lead. And back at home, we do have a backup Reaper on the way for Moja. Is in production, CC is under fire. And we will not get the SCV, as HonMonO is going to be forced back. And behind this, do you see what I see? Reacted Reaper. Reacted Reaper Hellion. Very aggressive follow-up out of HonMonO, which also makes sense. Does have that Reaper lead. So he's massing up Hellions, massing up Reapers, and his goal is to break the natural. Is to bust into a mineral line and wreak havoc on those SCVs. And we'll see if he can. Likewise, Moja getting into his own Cyclone production. Ooh, reactors on the way. That will delay any additional Reapers or Marines. That means this is all we have. Moja looking vulnerable. And HonMonO, can we break him? We can. The goal here, get on top of the Cyclone. Can we get on top of the Cyclone? Can we snowball from there? HonMonO is coming in. Spreads out his units, goes for the Cyclone. No repair! No repair. One Hellion goes down. We do get the... Oh, we don't get the Cyclone. Never mind. We hold. Whew. Moja does hold. Shuts down the army. Forces it back. The Cyclone barely standing strong. One more shot would have been it. But it does survive. We get the repair off. And Moja holds. Moja does hold. And now with these reinforcing Reaper Hellion, it's unlikely to really get much done. Cyclones will shut this down, especially with two of them at the same time. We're trying to go for another dive. We will get one of the Cyclones, but no much more than that. Moja should be okay. Reaper's dipping in. And getting a Marine. Nice pickoffs here out of HonMonO. Going for another dive. Does not get the Cyclone, but does get a Marine. Not bad. And behind this, we're getting to Viking production to have tanks on the way. And we'll keep an eye on HonMonO to see if he does throw down a second starport. For now, just initial Vikings. Just doubling down on Viking production. Attempts to dive into the main is denied by Moja. Is going to be denied. With that, we just see HonMonO moving out with quite an army here. There's not really much on the ground as we're trying to focus on that final Cyclone, and we get it! We get the Cyclone! HonMonO, calm down! Gets the Cyclone and has arrived with what kind of army? Tank Viking. It's only Tank Viking, really! 6 Vikings, 2 tanks. The boys are being pulled, and Moja, he does put the army. He wants to ignite the Ravens! First Raven goes down. Massive pickoff already here for HonMonO. Gets the first Raven. Tanks are sieging up ahead of time. Our boys are here to help support. Ooh, big tank volley goes off. Marines, oh, they're gonna be shut down. Oh my god! Yeah, the Marines are being cleaned up. The auto turret as well. We shut down the Raven. Insane trades here for HonMonO. He lands the Vikings. He wants the tanks. He's gonna be punished for it. Does get 1 tank. Oof. Yeah, no, that's not ideal. That was not the best move. Did get at least 1 tank, but lost a lot of Vikings in the process. Hi. Third CC's on location for both players. HonMonO making his way into the main, trying to camp the production. Will land the Vikings. Will go for the SCVs. Yeah, I guess 2 SCVs. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel on the racks. At the same time, we're diving on top of the tanks. We're at least attempting to. As we drag the army towards the north. Meanwhile, tank looking to siege on the high... No, never mind. I thought it was going to siege on the high ground, but yeah, gonna bypass the army instead. Vikings landing across the map, going for SCV kills. A lot of workers are going down. Oh my god! Yeah, we're getting very chaotic at this point. Meanwhile, HonMonO is chased all the way back home. Still getting more SCVs. Third base is going to be denied. Tank walking in. Oh, does get 2 more workers. Again, someone stepping his heart out. Vikings in the 3rd base. It's a very chaotic game state. Very chaotic. What's going on? We're essentially playing mech. I say mech. We have triple Starport production. We're going Mass Viking. Mass Viking. Oh my god. I mean, it is a form of mech. There is no bio. There's no 2nd racks. There's no 3rd racks. It is just tanks and Vikings. And we're not stopping. We keep moving out. Oh boy. Now, there is a lot of power in Tank Viking. Basically, the downside, the most vulnerable thing about this army composition is the lack of support. It does mean that if the tanks get caught on siege, they're gonna die. There's gonna be dive potential for Moja to get on top of these tanks to shut them down. There's no Hellions to support. There's no Marines to support. They are vulnerable on their own. So it is a really risky playstyle, but the Vikings, they land into the main. Getting an add-on, denying some of the production, forcing a cancel. And these Marines, they do not have stim. No stim on those Marines. A lot of them do go down. That's a force to lift. 1 Viking falls. But so far it's been good value here from HonMonO. Rotating over, stim just now beginning. Tanks are not quite in position. And we land in the mineral line. Oh my god! And in a matter of seconds, we get almost every single SCV. That is insane. We had 16 workers, we're down to 1. That was 15 SCVs and a Raven. 15 SCVs and a Raven go down. Ay. I'm afraid to look at the unit loss tab, but it's been 27 worker kills in total. At the same time, we're double expanding. We're triple expanding. HonMonO taking the northern base, the southern bases as well. Getting more SCVs. Getting up to 33. That's 5 extra SCVs going down. And we just keep dropping Vikings. We're just pulling. We're pulling Moja apart with Mass Viking. It's working. The Mass Viking is cracked, Pappy. Oh my god. They just do so much damage to SCVs. They hold their own against these Stimless Marines as well. Again, Stim is still not done. It started earlier, but we killed the tech lab. Yeah, HonMonO sniped the tech lab, which did deny the upgrade. Moja trying to move out. Meanwhile, more Vikings. We have advanced servers on the way. Still just mass Viking production 5 at a time. And Moja's had enough. We're going for a base trade. We're moving out for a base trade. HonMonO going back into the main as well. Oh my god, did I stim for a 3rd time? As the 3rd time the tech lab's gone down. Oh, they kill buildings surprisingly quickly as well. Oh my god, that's crazy. And the buildings do crumble. Boys are being pulled. Vanilla Marines doing what they can. And we have committed to the all-in, but the tanks are sieged. And the tanks are ready. Big tank volleys going up. Marines, they try to dive on in. They will bring down the first line of tanks. But GG gets called. There's just not enough here to work with, and HonMonO will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Oh my god. What the hell did I just watch? GG, well played. HonMonO will take the series. Congratulations. A very strong performance out of HonMonO. My condolences to Moja. Did look very strong initially against Forjumi, but here in the TvT, did have a hard time keeping up with HonMonO in the end. And congratulations, HonMonO will advance on to the semifinals, and we will be following HonMonO after the lower semis. Gonna be jumping into Nick Rat versus Christiana first, as they have been patiently waiting. They have been patiently waiting for us. So we should be heading on over into that series. We do need a moment though, as we may as well just have a look at the bracket and catch up with all the results.